prepare for the second race of the ERL Mega Driver 86 series, coming to you live from Pocono Raceway here in the Pocono Mountains for 60 laps of racing. I'm Seth Cole, being joined this week by Sam Dyer. And Sam, a lot of drivers, we were talking about this just before we came on the air, a lot of drivers, when they first were testing this out, they were saying they had one condition. Now they're saying they have another condition as far as how the car handles. So expectations are for this race here today?
Honestly, I'm just expecting to see a lot of cars. I'm hoping we can get through turn 3 cleanly. I've been seeing a lot of cars during practice just struggling to get off the corner. That's where a lot of the accidents have been during practice. But yeah, I think that it's going to be a clean race. I mean, we saw the racers last week being pretty clean at a short track, and we're at a much bigger circuit this time around, so it should be a lot cleaner.
We ran 25 of the 120 laps last week at Lucas Oil Raceway under caution. So you're right, only 5 yellow flags, which is pretty good for a short track. A lot more spacious room here at Pocono. But then again, as you stated, drivers having difficulty with turn 3. You ended up seeing just before, and you're actually seeing right now, the fastest car in practice, which was the 51 of Jeremy Yancey. Yancey comes into this one currently 21st in points. Did not have a good run last week at Lucas Oil, so certainly looking to bounce back here. But the thing that makes this track so unique, and I think is going to be really showing us who here today, is Pocono. Really, it's called the Tricky Triangle because the same 3 corners, all different bankings. Turn 1, 14 degrees of banking, which is modeled after Trenton Speedway. Turn 2, you got 9 degrees of banking, probably the fastest corner these drivers will take today. It's modeled after Indianapolis. And then turn 3, where everybody's been having issues, well, probably because there's only 6 degrees of banking over there, modeled after Milwaukee Mile. And you take into consideration, you got 3 different corners. These drivers, their car conditions as far as tire grip, tire wear, how it's handling is going to be different. And they've got to make 60 circuits every single time with different corners coming up.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see going into turn number 1, coming off the start of the race. I mean, everyone's going to be close. Tires and the whole entire car has been tight, that I've been hearing throughout practice from all the drivers. So it's going to be a little close here in turn 1.
So one thing that definitely would be a question early on, probably as this race goes on, things will get spread out, but everybody's going to be all close together here at the initial start. So how hard do you think drivers are going to race to try and get track position for when the field finally does?
Oh, at restarts, people are going to be very aggressive. It's your one time to really make the moves. Like you said, people get spread out, they start in single file, and it gets pretty difficult making moves here at Pocono. Really, you're going to see a lot of passes on the straightaways with the draft, because how big the track is.
We didn't really get to see the draft come into play last week because we were at a short track. So yeah, definitely aerodynamics will be much more of a factor in this one. An interesting thing too is this is kind of a racetrack that could maybe play to everybody's strengths, no matter what specific type of racetrack they prefer, because as you mentioned, the draft comes into play, so that would be an advantage for those that find themselves really good at super speedways. And a lot of drivers say, especially with the shifting you have to do over in turn 3, that some of these corners, it's kind of like driving at a road course.
Yeah, you could totally see that. Qualifying is underway right now. I want to talk a little bit about last week. Our race winner of Tyler Riggs, who led practically 100 out of the 120 laps, really had a dominating run last week. Right now is still running his qualifying time, but last week was dominated by Tyler Riggs, and our pole sitter from last week, Brian Clark, had a Bradley Clark, my bad. He had a very unsuccessful pit stall on first pits and just fell back, had an unlucky race.
Definitely did. Yeah, got trapped with a pit road penalty, got put towards the rear of the field, and then caught up, and I think it was 2 cautions after that. So yeah, definitely not the run he was looking for. You mentioned about Tyler Riggs rather coming into this race as the points leader, the defending winner from last week at Lucas Oil. See him up there near the top of the leaderboard as far as practice speeds were going. And he said during post race last week that this was another track he was looking forward to coming to. So we'll have to see in race conditions if he's able to get the speed out of the 26 that we saw last week.
Yeah. But we're here at Pocono, and last time we were here, the man who won was Chad Frankenfield. He was the one that won it dominating fashion. Had 60 out of the 60 laps that were led. Out of the 60 laps that were run, he led 57 of them.
Still waiting for him to actually turn lap time. He'll be starting up near the front. He was, I want to say second fastest in practice, second or third. So we know he's definitely got the speed here today.
Yes, he does. He actually finished third last week at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Yes, he did. Yeah, actually, while we've got the opportunity here before the cars begin to grid, just give you a little rundown of what the points look like. Obviously, they're going to look an awful lot like the finishing results of last week, with it being only one race in. But Tyler Riggs with a 3-point lead over Ethan Burl. Then you got, as you mentioned, Frankenfield there in third. He's 4 points back. Rishav Kosla, who had that incredible save last week and was able to salvage a fourth-place run. He's fourth, 5 points back. Tate Lytle, who was just about the entire race last week. He's fifth, 6 points back. And the rest of your top 10 right now, Andrew Rucker, Peter Hayward, Jared Rexing, Dallas Myhand, and Brandon Key currently 11 points back. But that finished last week's race, first down through 28th, only 29 points separation, and definitely the points could close up even more here today.
Yeah, Koslov is someone to really watch out for. He's a rookie here on iRacing. He came from the Project Car scene in the console area. And right now, he's up front as well. Koslov at fourth on the grid.
Definitely a great run for him. And we will here, I believe, I think the official for qualifying, well, I guess not yet. They're not up. Hang on, I think I can find it here. As of the moment, it hasn't officially updated, so we can't just yet show the starting grid for today's race itself here. It looks like the 51's on the pole though.
Makes sense. He's fastest in practice and fastest in qualifying.
See here if indeed. I don't know what's going on with the starting grid right at the moment. Maybe we have to wait until they roll off the grid before we show you the starting lineup for this race. But based off of what we saw in practice, I mean, who do you think's to watch in this one?
Based on practice, I mean, Jeremy, who right now looks like is going to be our pole sitter, he, like we said, is the fastest car on track, both in practice and in qualifying. Someone who's probably going to be up front most of the race. Right now, looks like Chad Frankenfield is going to be starting in the back of the field, so we're going to see how he does coming through all the traffic.
That's going to be an interesting car to watch too, because as we mentioned, he was very fast in practice. So you'd have to think too that starting that far back, his car handles, at least early on, back in traffic. A lot of drivers say that usually back in traffic, it makes their car tighter in the corners. So that might be an issue for him. Fight his way through the field, but maybe not as quickly as we might possibly expect.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day for sure to get through the pack. I mean, it's going to be just a long day. We got 30 cars supposedly on the grid.
Thing that we should talk about too that is typical of Pocono is usually fuel strategy. I don't know exactly what the fuel cell is for these drivers. I was going to try and find out before we came on the air, but I forgot to. I don't know exactly just how far these drivers could go on fuel, but I would guess at a 2.5 mile speedway, I would guess they can't make it that far on one tank of fuel.
Probably not. I don't have the exact numbers as well, but fuel strategy is always one of the key things at bigger tracks. We'll see how it comes. Go. and the pace car is off, and we're going green.
Here we go. Let's see just how aggressive these drivers are going to be at the very start. And the grid has actually updated itself with them crossing the start-finish line, so that's good.
And Jeremy's going to be taking it into turn 1, holding off everyone behind him. Justin Kerensky is going to be staying in second. Josh Farrell in third. Kosla in fourth.
He's going to be in a fight with Levi Zelensky there for that 5th position as they head through the tunnel turn. Here in turn 3, I mean, maybe they forced the issue in practice, see what they could do. Let's see how conservative they are here on the first lap.
Going
pretty
all the way
good
back
up there towards the front.
We go back to 7th. Everyone's too wide. Battles everywhere in the back.
And battling there with Damian Leniger. Swing around the outside. Doesn't quite work. He's going to pull ahead just a bit there off turn 1. I think the 12 might have maybe brushed the wall a little bit.
Just a little bit. Going into the tunnel turn, and they're still sideways. Oh, they're backing off, giving each other a little bit of space.
Usually the tunnel turn, you don't want to go through there double wide. That's usually one of the tighter corners here at Pocono. We're going to renew their battle down here into turn 3. Rexing's going to hold on to the position, at least for the moment. We drop back. 14th place. Frankenfield has worked his way up to, so he is a man on a mission, and he's picked up a lot more spots early on here in the first few laps than I expected.
Absolutely. You could tell he wants to go. He's just waiting for room to show up.
The issue is he could maybe get boxed in. He's right now behind last week's winner, Tyler Riggs, so we'll see if maybe Riggs and Frankenfield can work together, cutting their way through the field as both of them just inside the top 15. Back up to the front. Not really grown that much between the top 2. Last time by only 0.2 of a second. So that 4 of Justin Krzyzewski touch with Jeremy Yancey, at least for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting to pull away from 3rd place. Just a little bit here.
There, I think that was the 15, peeking out of line again for a position. Now slotted in 3rd is Joshua Furr in 25, and he could very well start falling back into the clutches of Rishav Kosla for that 3rd spot. Brandon Key in that very noticeable full sponsorship on the hood of that machine, riding in that 5th position, and looks like he and Levi Zelensky might be drafting with each other here, as Zelensky is right up on his back bumper. Actually, I think he just made a move on him.
That he did. Beautiful pass in for 3. Going into the straightaway.
Kind of like a slingshot move. Get right up behind them, use the momentum, and drive around. And boy, that 2 car looked out of shape coming off turn 3, and now he's got Jared Rexing all over his back bumper. Battle for the lead looks like it's on. Ends. Yancey loses the lead. He is going to go to the point. That's the first lead change of the day, and it kind of looked like a little bit faster than Yancey was, and I think Yancey might have just said, okay, you are faster than me, I'm going to move over, let you go by.
Yeah, also you saw the draft come into there as well. I mean, he got a huge launch going into that corner.
Very difficult, especially when you've got these long straightaways to block somebody that does have a run. We got another battle going on back here. Levi Zelensky again trying to make some moves. That time it didn't work out for him. Looked like he was trying to pass Brandon Key and Jared Rexing for position, and he dropped from 5th, now back to 7th. Off turn 3 is now Rexing trying to get to the inside. Oh, look out, the 2 cars around! Hard into the inside wall. back up into traffic, and the caution flag is out.
Chris just got a little loose, which then backed everyone up, and there went Key.
That was close. He came right back up into the racing groove. Nice job by everybody else to avoid him. That was enough to bring out the caution. I don't know just exactly how hard a hit that was. He did nose it into that inside safety barrier, talking about... I think he'll be able to continue, but I think that will affect him aerodynamically wise at least.
Oh, it was a straight head-on collision onto the wall. That is for sure probably going to mess with a little bit of the aero on the front end and possibly be down a few RPMs.
We'll go back and take a look at the replay of what happened there live, because the camera at the time was focused on the 2-car, which I believe Brandon Key has actually brought the car back behind the wall. Never mind.
Yep, it's on pit road. It was smoking really bad once he started to take off after hitting the wall. For sure, there was some engine damage there.
He said, yeah, I basically saw the exact same thing where they stacked up. He was making a move at the moment, I think, for the 4th position. And it just didn't work out for him.
Well, in
we'll
other
look here at our replay here in just a moment.
When if we look at 10th place right now, the man who started so far back, Chad Frankenfield, he's all the way up to 10th right now. He's just been moving up slowly but surely.
We saw right there, nowhere for... He almost got a little bit of help from Jared Rexing behind him. Able to get the car refired and continue on. And like I said, very fortunate that more drivers didn't get involved in that too, because he came right back up into the racing line. But the one fortunate thing about Pocono is it's very spacious, so if somebody ends up wrecking, a lot of maneuverability to be able to avoid them, as we're going to come back here live, and we've actually got on here.
Cars are in the pits.
The strategy is going to be here. Looks like Frankenfield might have gone with maybe 2 tires only, because he's going to pick up some spots.
With how much he got and how many positions he got out of that, he had to take 2.
Going to move up to the 5th position as a result, I believe. No, 6th place, sorry. And it looks like the biggest loser on those pit stops was the 51 of Jeremy Yancey. He fell all the way back to around the 11th, 12th position. Then again, I'm pretty certain he went with a 4-tire stop. We'll have to see if he can work his way up. It looks like it will be Justin Krasinski with the lead, and Joshua Furr will line up on his outside. Maybe his inside. Depends on which line the 4-car takes on this restart.
What line would you prefer taking off on this restart?
Honestly, I think I would prefer the outside, just because knowing how turn 1 is, if you get down too low, get 2 tires down there near that apron, and the car gets tight, the racetrack, and if someone's to your outside, you're going to wreck with them. When you're on that outside line, you can maybe pinch the person on the inside line down. You also get a better entry into turn 1 as well if you're able to diamond it from the high side down to the inside. So I would take the outside, I think. But I think it's because I think somebody stayed out. 6 is currently being scored the race leader. And that's Ethan Reasoner. So it's on pit road. Reasoner says, hey, I'm not going to strategy on the pit road. I'm going to stay out, get myself a lap led, and looks like he'll be the one to lead us to the green, and looks like he's choosing the inside line.
I mean, this
only ran about 7 laps on that green flag run. So it will be interesting to see how older tires stack up against newer tires. Some drivers back there have 2, some drivers back there have 4. Idea of just how important tires are here at Pocono.
We're going to learn pretty quick if no tires is really a good idea, especially with just 7 laps. I mean, you think, oh, it's only 7, but I mean, that's still, with fresher tires, I feel like fresh tires are just going to shoot past it.
I definitely would agree with you. Reasoner finished 13th last week at Lucas Oil, so trying to improve on that here today. It'll be interesting to see just how quickly he drops back. I mean, I don't think he's going to be able to hold off these guys, even the ones that only took 2 tires. But it'll be interesting to see if he can maybe, as the run goes on, slot back into 7th, 8th, 9th, and hold his position. Because that might be something that these other drivers will stow away in the back of their minds for later on.
Yeah, we also got to watch Frankenfield. He's the furthest car ahead with just taking 2 tires. So we'll see how 2 tires work.
This car is going to peel off. Jump there for Ethan Reasoner, and looks like he says, okay, I got my lap led, now you guys all go by.
I mean, you knew that fresher tires were going to be dominant, but he just wanted those points and got out of there real quick.
Wouldn't find that so funny if I hadn't pulled that strategy before as well, so I know exactly how that works. As woo, look right there, that car on the inside of Joshua Furr got tight going off the exit of turn 1, almost came up into the 4 car, and that's what I was saying, why you might not want to restart on that inside line.
They're starting to get into straight line.
4 broken away for the moment, and then you get back to a battle that's brewing for 5th place. Chad Frankenfield all over the back bumper of Kendall Noah Player. He was a contender early on last week at Lucas Oil, but ran into some late issues.
Frankenfield with these 2 tires, I mean, he's gained 2 positions. One of them was because the leader just peeled off, but when he passed Zelensky, not Zelensky, my bad, Koslov.
So just behind him is, we've got another car. Oh, that's actually, oh, we got caution. No, we don't. Never mind.
No.
Maybe we were under caution because I saw a slow car on the inside. That's actually the 2 of Brandon Key, who is off the pace. And another position possibly being picked up here by Frankenfield. Yes, he will swing around Noah Player, and he will take, well, as soon as I say that, 94 battles back. Behind them,
get past him off the corner here. I don't think he's got...
Got Koslov. Wait and see which line opens up. Very impressive there with Kendall Noah Player holding on that top side. But as they're racing side by side, you got to think that's going to lose them ground to the top 4 as well.
That is what's going on right now.
Logan Simmons in that 75 going around the outside line. Now they're almost 3 wide behind him. That's Jeremy Yancey, the pole sitter. Price of 1. He passed both Kosla and Riggs. I believe he was the first driver to take 4 tires on pit road. So we are definitely seeing coming into play in terms of speed and the ability to be able to pick up positions.
It's looking like the 2 tires can hold off for at least a couple laps. Then the 4 tires just kick in after 2 laps.
We're back up to the front again. Top 4 single file. May have a battle maybe brewing for second as Levi Zielinski is starting to close in on Joshua Furr, but wonder if he might actually try and just ride in line with the 25 so the 2 of them can try and draft up to the race leader.
I mean, they're in a safe spot right now. It's still a very long race, and just staying in line isn't a bad plan. When you're sticking close to the leader, you still see where the leader is, but they're going to make a move.
Be a battle for second place, and looks like Zielinski will easily clear. I think Joshua Furr may have let him have the spot, and they may not want to look in their rearview mirrors because all by himself, Chad Frankenfield has run down 4th place, 3rd place, 2nd place. He's got his sights set on that race leader.
Finally got past Kendall Noah player and just took off like a rocket ship.
As you can see here with the statistic, back in the 22nd position and in 14 laps, well, 13 and a half technically, he has worked his way up to the 5th position. The fastest car on track. The race leader, Krzyzewski, ran a 53.513 and a 4.48. So he is
Caution's out.
got a caution out. Well, that's going to help him even more. He's going to bunch them all back up. And see what the reason for this caution could be. Where's the rear? I don't know if it might have been one of them. Looking at the 40 of Chris Young. Oh, he's got the 86 right behind him. I don't see anybody that necessarily ran into trouble. Oh, wait a minute. Some connection issues going on with the 4 car or something. 4 car keeps lagging off the leaderboard. Caution flag out, to be honest with you. We'll go back and see if we can find out who it was. Yellow flag of the day here in the first 15 laps of this race. And we will see if we can find out why this yellow flag did indeed come out. I don't know, you able to see anything there, Samuel?
I'm struggling to find it at the moment.
And see if we... The caution is out at this point. Back having connection issues, I know that, but I don't think he's what brought out the yellow flag.
So I just got word that it was the 14 blowing up.
Oh.
Possibly.
And that would be last week's pole sitter, Brady Clark. Yes, you're right. We can find where that engine let go. Oh, yeah. That car. There was actually some contact with somebody else here as well. Let's take a look and see what this was. The white car there, and he runs into the back of the 58 of Chris Jordan, and then up and into the wall. Immediately retired after that. I don't know if he overdrove the corner or if the 58 took the corner conservative, but whatever the case, there was contact between the two of them. Brady Clark, it's like he could be out of this. He might have actually had connection issues and might have actually lagged into the 58, as it looks like he to the server. Not really sure what happened there. Yeah, he's back in the server now. He's currently on pit road.
Yeah, it looks like he got towed in, and that's what happened. That's why he disappeared for a second.
And then that Budweiser Elvis machine here this week. I think that Chris Jordan got any damage. I know he spun a little bit, but I think he's saved. I don't think he even hit the wall, so I think he's okay. Brought the caution flag out. And it looks like we had some more pit stops there under the course of this yellow flag, and we have a new race leader, Michael Goodman, in the 73, and now looks like he's going to relinquish that lead and come to pit road, so that's going to turn the lead over to the 97. Linsky
got to lead his lap, and now he's going to go in the pits.
Zielinski will be the race leader over Zensky. Then you got Damian Linegar, Joshua Furr, Logan Simmons, Joshua Clark up here in the top 10 for the first time. He's going to restart 6th. Then you got Kendall Noah Player, Jeremy Yancey, Vincent Isabella, and Rijab Kosla. And one driver that is notably missing from up at the front is the 15 of Chad Frankenfield. He's back in 25th, so he had a slow stop, or they may have had a penalty on pit road and had to serve an EOL, but looks like, again, he's going to have to fight his way up through the field.
Maybe it's something that he likes to do, is practice going up the field.
Could very well be. He definitely showed that he's got a car strong enough to work his way up through the field. The only thing I would be a little apprehensive about last week, Brady Clark started out front. He got hit with a pit road penalty, was at the back, and then he got caught up in a couple of wrecks. Now, I know there's a difference between a short track and a speedway, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that you put yourself back in traffic. You could innocently be a victim, placed either ahead of you or right around you.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen 2 cautions, and now there might be another one. We're only 17 laps in. We'll see how many more cautions we'll see. Or we could go green all the way.
The thing that makes it interesting, too, if we do go green the rest of the way, with not knowing what the fuel tank is as far as how many laps they can go, we've gone now almost a third of this race. They've had the 8 of 2 cautions, had the opportunity to be able to come down, top off the fuel tanks, and so in the back of the mind, can they make it a little more than 40 laps on 1 tank of fuel? Are they good to go the rest of the way, or will we still see them having to either save fuel or hit pit road at least one more time before this thing's over?
We'll just have to wait and see.
Zelensky's going to take that outside line here for this restart. So he'll stick the inside line. Saw on the last restart, I think it was the 25 of Joshua Furr was on the inside line, and he got tight on the bottom through turn 1. So we'll see if that's going to happen again now for the 4. Will be trapped on the bottom of the racetrack. Clarified that indeed the 15 car is at the rear of the field, but it looks like he might be. If these drivers are having connection issues or if they're actually out of the race right now. The 86 of Riesener, the 15 of Frankenfield, they are not currently on my grid in this race. I think I see Frankenfield there at the rear of the field, though, so I think it's just connection issues.
He's all the way back in 28th. He's trying to get back.
There he is.
The pack. Lights are off on the pace car, so we're going to be going green this time around.
We are the Procore number 97. Levi Zelensky is going to be the one to lead them down this time. Pretty sure he was in 3rd, either 2nd or 3rd, when the caution came out last time. Fast car. We'll see if he's going to be able to hold off Justin Krasneski, who has, for the most part, led a good portion of the first third of this race. And it looks like we'll be getting this restart with a total of 40 laps to go.
40 laps to go. That's 2/3 of the race to go. The pace car is off, and we're going green.
Jump there for the 97. I don't know if Krasneski was not ready for that green or what, but looks like he may have a challenge to his outside. Joshua Furr got a good jump, and he's going to try and battle for second place. Oh, there goes the 25 around. Did he save it? I think he might have. Caution is out. I think Joshua first saved it.
Going back to watch
the wall. It looked like he might have been able to keep that car from hitting the wall, and if he did, that's an amazing save.
On my screen, it looks like he kept it off the wall.
You said it. With these restarts, with them all lined up as close as they are, that's when they're going to be their most aggressive, and right there is a classic case. Third caution of the day. We'll go back and take a look at the save by, despite the spin, is still running in the 13th position.
It was a beautiful save, but it looks like it might have been a net code on why Joshua Furr got sideways there.
Take a look. It was going into turn 1. He was on the outside of the 4 of Justin Krasneski. And, oh, yeah, well, it looked like some netco, but also looked like the 12 of Damian Leniger may have pushed up just the least little bit. An amazing save, keeping it out of the wall. That car should have gone rear first up into the safer barrier. Tremendous save by Joshua Furr. Probably will have to come to pit road and change just to make sure that it didn't flat spot any of them. At least he's still going to be in the race. Lose him some track position as a result, though. And it looks like the 95, or not the 95. Sorry, I'm so used to Procore sponsoring a 95 car in NASCAR. But the 97 is going to stay out. Says to me, maybe, just maybe, these guys are within their window now that they can make it on fuel.
Make it on fuel, or pit road just wasn't open.
B2. Looking to see, yeah, might have been that pit road wasn't open yet. Third place right now, or I'm sorry, fourth place, Joshua Clark. We haven't really talked about him today. We saw that he had popped up into the top 10 after the last caution. Machine running very well. I saw him actually following Tyler Riggs up through the field. 8 lap 9. Looks like the lucky dog, the free pass, is going to go to the 2 of Brandon Key, which I think this is going to put him back on the lead lap. Key break for the driver that brought out our first caution. We're now going to have 29 cars running and all of them on the lead lap. Those drivers that started towards the rear, obviously not a whole lot of time to be able to work their way up towards the front. Coming out, but a couple of notables. You've got Jeremy Yancey, the pole sitter, right now in the 6th position. Tyler Riggs, last week's winner, is currently in 10th place. Then Chad Frankenfield, we've been following him during the course of this race, the ups and downs. Right now, he's going to be restarting back, looks like in the 21st position. Or they can get up there and battle for the win. Just really hasn't had luck go his way, but again, it's a 2.5 mile speedway. Ways to go in this one, so still plenty of time for something to drastically change in this race.
Lots of things to change. I mean, we're going to have Frankenfield in the back, and then you're also going to have Joshua Furr in the back as well. 2 very fast cars that are going to be trying to get through the field as fast as possible.
A little bit of damage, it looks like, to the back of the 4 of Justin Krasneski. A little bit of contact, maybe with the 12 of Damian Leniger, that might have led to the 25 of Joshua Furr spinning around, perhaps. Going to affect him aerodynamically wise. I think he'll still be okay. Waiting for the lights to go out of the top of the pace car. Let's give you a little bit of a full field rundown right now, as you've got right now in the lead Justin Krasneski in 2nd. Damian Leniger currently runs in 3rd. Joshua Clark in 4th. Logan Simmons up in the 5th position. A 6th. Kendall Noah Player in 7th. Rishav Kosala runs in 8th. 9th place is Vincent Isabella. And completing your top 10, last week's winner, Tyler Riggs. Outside the top 10 and 11th, Peter Howard currently in 12th. 13th place is Alex, pronounce the name, Barentz, I believe? Balvance, there we go. Alex Balvance in 13th. 14th is Stephen McGough. Currently in 15th. 16th is David Tucker. Billy Hale right now runs in 17th. Michael Goodman, who we saw stay out and lead a lap on the last caution, he'll restart in 18th. 19th is Matthew Weeks. 20 is going to be the 25 of Joshua Furr, who brought out this most recent caution. Rest of the field behind him, you got Chris Young, Brent Wentz, Richard Hines, Chad Frankenfield, Joshua. And then the remainder of the field that I've got here are Ethan Reasoner, M. Daniel Martinez, and Brandon Key, who I believe actually, he got a lap back. He was lucky dog. That put him from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. So he still is -1 to the leader. If he gets another caution, though, he could find himself back on the lead lap.
Lead lap and getting more points.
Absolutely. Came into this 1/10 in the point standings, had that early issue, that spin off of turn 2 into the inside wall, but just right. You may end up finding yourself a lap down early, but you could maybe salvage a top 10, top 15 if other drivers have issues during the course of this race. And as we keep stressing, long ways to go in this one.
Yep. Coming through turn 2, the lights are out for the pace car, so we are going green this time around. It's impressive to see Joshua Clark up there. He started 24th, now in 4th. This is a great run for him if he can keep it up.
Definitely is. Very good run for him. Showed a lot of speed there on the first few laps, was following in the tire tracks of drivers like Frankenfield and Tyler Gibbs, who were all, or Tyler Riggs, I keep doing that, who were fighting their way up through the field. And it'll be interesting to see here because we saw where Joshua Furr was able to get a good run with Levi Zielinski. Maybe we'll see Joshua Clark be able to get a good jump, and, well, the third place is Zielinski got a great restart.
And Clark wants to go. Zielinski, if he wasn't up top, I think Clark would have tried to make a move.
Clark's going to pay the price for that, too. He got held up behind the Ford car, and he's going to drop back to 5th place. Just lost a spot to Jeremy Yancey. His way back up to the front now. He's all over the back bumper of Damian Leniger in that 12. Good battle going on for the 5th position. Logan Simmons trying to go around the outside of Joshua Clark, and he will clear for that spot. Jeremy Yancey all over the left rear quarter panel of the 12. He's going to try and make the move to the inside in turn 1. We'll see if Leniger is going to give him the spot or will he fight him. Looks like he was willing to give that position up, tucked right in line behind the 51. So in the of this restart, Jeremy Yancey has moved from 6th up to 3rd, and now he's hunting down the top 2.
Koslaw, who started around the 8th spot and has fallen down to 10th. It looks like he might lose 10th.
Here, Howard trying to get by him. He's already lost a spot to Tyler Riggs. Evan McGough right there as well, 13th place, running behind these guys in that 83. To move up closer to the front, Jeremy Yancey with Damian Leniger trying to run down the top 2. Give up that 3rd position. He's trying to look back to the inside. Not going to be able to get a run just yet. 7 of Zielinski trying to break the draft down the Long Pond straightaway. Pulling off an IndyCar move there as he's trying to from getting a run on him, and he's not going to be able to hold him off. Look at the suck up right there. Is to his back bumper, tried to make the move in turn 3, couldn't do it. We'll see if he can get a better run here down the front stretch and into turn 1.
He's trying to break the draft, but it just isn't working. Zielinski is still on his tail.
Kolensky's going to get to his left rear quarter panel here into turn 1. I don't think that Zielinski's going to be able to hold him off. Throttle Suna here off the exit of turn 1. He is going to clear him, at least hold him off, at least for the moment, but so much coming into play, you got to think that Krasinski's going to try and use it again.
It was the run off turn 2 that got him close last time. Is it going to be close again?
Unable to make the move into 3 last lap. We'll see if he tries it this time. And as these two continue to battle amongst themselves, that's just going to allow 3rd place Jeremy Yancey, 4th place Damian Leniger to be able to close in on them, maybe make it a 4-man fight for the lead.
We're going to see how close everyone gets off of turn 3, going into turn 1.
Right there, that Zelensky that time didn't really bob and weave trying to break the draft, and that's going to cost him. 4-car gets a good run on him heading into the entrance of turn 1.
We're coming close to the halfway marker here, and things are starting to heat up. The 4-car coming off of turn number 1. He's right on his tail.
Going to make a move to the inside here, and I don't think there's going to be an opportunity for Zelensky to block him. He's going to be alongside him going into turn 2, and that inside advantage is going to, I think, give Krasensky this lead.
They both were trying to give, which kept them both side by side.
Look at the 51 closing in really quickly on these two.
Turn 3, they're right on top of each other.
Throw a blanket over the top 3 right now.
Coming off turn number 3, who's going to make the move?
I think that if the 4-car of Krasensky makes a move on the 97 of Zelensky, that Yancey's going to be right there to maybe force it 3 wide, depending on where the move's made. Again, they're going to go side by side into 1. But Zelensky on that outside line to maybe get the better corner exit off of there. Yep, looked like the 4 got a little tight on the bottom.
Got pinched just a little bit, made him lose momentum, but the 51 didn't lose his.
The car down there towards the apron, that's the 94 of Kendall Noah Player. I don't know what's going on with him. Just lost a spot to Joshua Clark. It's on purpose. If he had some issue he had to sort out, but he just lost a position. He is still up to speed, though, as we'll go back up to this battle for the lead. And it's still hot and heavy. We now got 4 cars up here as Damian Leniger says, hey, I want to play.
Looking back at Kendall, it looked like he got loose off.
Right in front of the 75 of Simmons. Caution is out. As the race leader at the time, Levi Zelensky spins off 3. I don't think he hit the wall. He saves it. Tremendous save here at Pocono, but that was right up there in the battle for the lead.
People were starting to get loose everywhere. Kendall was the one that got loose off of turn number 1. That's why he was so slow coming in down at the apron. Then our leader losing it off of 3.
Like they might have been 3 wide coming off of turn 3, and it was just basically, I think it was like a game of chicken of who was going to try and mash the throttle down sooner. And I think maybe those rear tires just did not grip the racetrack, might have spun the 97 around. Any contact with anybody else?
No, I mean, he lost it before they even got 3 wide. Maybe he just lost the air or something, but it just went around.
Go look here and see what happened with him. He was battling side by side at the time with the 51 of Jeremy Yancey. I don't know if maybe the 4 behind him took the air off the spoiler or what, but yeah, he got loose coming off the exit. It's a wonder he didn't collect Yancey with him, and that he was able to, he might have made a little contact with the left rear, but not heavy contact at all if he did make any with that inside wall. We've seen that's really been a tremendous one here today at Pocono. The first one was 25 of Joshua Furr.
Yeah, I mean, these are 2 cars that should have absolutely destroyed it into the wall, but somehow they're keeping it off of it.
Drivers making pit stops now, and with every pit stop that we have, as we get closer and closer to this race, it starts to make us more and more certain that probably these drivers are going to be good the rest of the way on fuel, but racetrack, you never know. But I think these drivers are very grateful that they're able to use a caution to come down and top off the fuel tanks rather than having to do it under green flag conditions.
Having a caution always is also helping them with their heart rate just a little bit. I mean, things were starting to get heated up everywhere on track, but especially in the lead.
Kendall Noah Player dropped to the inside on the Long Pond straightaway. Well, Clark by, well, he stayed out. So I guess he's getting himself a bonus point lap lead. Also staying out was the 73 of Michael Goodman and the 13 of Vincent Isabella. See them on pit road this time. And maybe, just maybe, thinking they can get 1 lap extra of fuel if indeed this does come down to a fuel strategy race, you think?
There's a possibility also saving fuel just in case we go to a green-white checker.
Looks like if these 3 do pit, then Justin Krzyzewski will cycle back around to the lead. Jeremy Yancey will line up in second. Clark, Damian Leniger, and Jared Rexing will be your top 5. Did not make up a whole lot of ground on that last green flag run. He starts somewhere around the 11th, 12th position. With the spin out that we saw with the 97 of Levi Zelensky, looks like he'll be restarting around the 14th position. We'll see if he's going to be able to work his way back to the front, as he definitely had a strong car to be out there out in front. Now we'll have to see how his car handles back in traffic. See Krzyzewski waiting for the indication that we are going to be going back green. My assumption is that he will be taking the outside line. The leaders on these restarts have been choosing. Jeremy Yancey on the inside.
Yeah, and like you were saying, the outside
actually lost a spot on pit road, because I'm pretty certain he was the leader after the 97 spun.
Well, like you said, there might have been some damage. You could have gone for the optional.
Very true. Got a couple of names that have popped up here into the top 10 that we may not have talked about very much here today. A few weeks. Going to be restarting in the 8th position, and we saw when we were watching the battle back there around the 10th, 11th position, we talked about Steven Mago. He's now in 10th place. Isaiah Dupree right behind him in 11th place. Field, the name keeps popping up, but he's up to the 9th position. So we'll see here as we enter into the second half of this race just what kind of a car he's got now, if he's going to be able to tender. I think the highest he's gotten so far today was around the 5th, 6th position.
It was around there, and then pit road incidents happened. Made him drop back.
For last week, Tyler Riggs said that was Lucas Oil. He took the checkered flag there, but he also had Pocono circled on his schedule. He was really looking forward to this race. Right now, he is in the 6th position for this restart, 3rd car on the outside line. So he's up here in the top 10, and we'll see what he's got in the closing stages of this race.
We also got Furr, who's also moving up in the middle of the pack, who was back there with Frankenfield on that previous restart.
So we've had 4 cautions here in the first half of this race. We definitely saw the aggression level pick up on that last green flag run, so to the end, or have we not seen our last yellow flag?
Oh, we have not seen our last yellow with the way that people are racing right now.
Definitely on that bandwagon as well.
Because we just passed the halfway marker. People were just starting to get heat up. I mean, we might see a lull if people want to have a little bit of a lull for 10, 15 laps, then pick it up. But I doubt that with how everyone's racing since we dropped the green.
Definitely agree with you. Be interesting to see if the 97 is going to be able to get back up there. Levi Zelensky. Seeing Frankenfield get up here yet to battle for the lead. You've got Tyler Riggs back there. You got Jared Rexing, who was really strong early on. He's back up here in the top 5. Kind of faded back on the last restart. Back up here again in the restart in the 3rd position. I think he restarted 4th on the last time. So we'll see if he's able to stay up here in the top 5 as well, as we're getting ready to go back green. Pace car makes the left-hand turn to pit road.
4 car gets a great launch.
battle will be for second. Damian Leniger tried to stay to the outside of Jeremy Yancey. Not going to be successful. Yancey will clear for second. Third. Falling back there. I think that might have been the 11 of Matthew Weeks, as Jared Rexing just got around him for 6th place. We saw before, when the battling was going on between the 4 of Krzyzewski and the 97 of Zelensky, that was when Jeremy Yancey was able to close in. The longer the run went, the better Jeremy Yancey's car got. So we'll see just exactly how long it takes for him to reel that 4 car in, maybe make it a battle for the lead. There's a little bit of connection problems there for Tyler Riggs in that 5th position. And boy, look at that 12 car down there right on the yellow line with those left sides. I'd be a little worried doing that.
Here comes Clark.
Cost him.
Pass on 3rd.
Yeah, Clark got a good run there.
Just going to give the 12 car a little bit of a bump.
It's actually going to help propel the 12 car back up towards the top 2. Back into the clutches of Tyler Riggs, and I thought for a moment we were going to have a battle for the lead. 51 was only about half a car length back, but now the gap's opened a little bit, and ooh, boy, they're really racing hard from 4th place on back. Jared Rexing, Chad Frankenfield, Tyler Riggs, all in this battle.
Battle for 5th right now. Now for 4th.
Tyler Riggs going to move to 4th. Frankenfield, little tight there, coming off the corner, almost up into the driver's side door of Joshua Clark. The move on the inside going down here into turn 2. Rexing going to follow in his tire tracks as well. And right there, that white car back behind them. 25 back up here. Right now in the 9th position.
Yeah, Frankenfield and Ferrer both have been moving up together throughout the pack.
Someone got the wall back there out for 3. I think that was the 75 of Logan Simmons, perhaps. Or the 7 of Joshua Personet, one of those two, because it was right around the 97 of Levi Zelensky. That was close.
Yeah. That was a 75. Just touching the wall.
That's going to be for 4th place. Chad Frankenfield to the inside of Tyler Riggs. Easy pass made there. Just now that we've seen him run during the course of this race, now he's going to try and run down the top trio.
Yeah, once Clark dropped back and made it a battle for 4th, these top 3 have been slowly inching away.
26 got down there on the apron, got really loose, came up the track in front of the 10 of Jared Rexing. They nearly wrecked, and that checked up Rexing so badly, he's going to drop back to the 8th position and maybe lose more spots. That really killed his momentum. Saved, though, by Tyler Riggs, and very lucky that the 10 car backed out and allowed him to gather it back up.
Clark once again goes into turn 1 a little too deep and is going to lose position in that.
Behind him, you've got Joshua Furr. 2 drivers that had amazing saves, solo car spins that brought out yellow flags, but they are in 9th and 10th. 5th caution of the day. We will get another restart, this time with less than 20 to go. And I should also mention that last caution put Brandon Key back on the lead lap. He's currently in the 25th position of 26 cars running. What brought out this most recent yellow flag? It was the 38 car. M. Daniel Martinez. Look here, as they were 3 wide. I think this was on the Long Pond straightaway. Make some contact right there with the car to his outside. Spins around off the nose of the 96. Ooh, that was a hard hit into the inside wall as well. That was actually the straightaway between turns 1 and 2. Put it into the wall there for Martinez. Got out the caution. That was pretty close to the rear of the field as well, but multiple drivers involved.
Helping Brandon Key get a couple more positions.
Definitely is. No doubt about that.
And it looks like everyone might be going to the pits this time. Makes sense. Get those fresh tires.
Absolutely. Question is, tires risk the chance some of the guys mid-pack might go with 2, lose track position, or do you go with the 4 tires here?
I mean, the one person who's tried 2 tires would be Chad Frankenfield, but I think he's far enough ahead that he might not want to risk it with just 2 tires.
What the strategy is going to be here for our race leaders. And we'll see if anybody else is going to gamble, try and get some track position. There, just coming off pit road, Tyler Riggs there. And how about the 97 tire stop for Levi Zelensky? He will be the race winner off pit road.
I think he was tired of being in that lap traffic. He wants to be up front, get that fresh air.
Brandon Key, we mentioned, got back in the lead lap. Well, he got himself a lap lead. So about 38 laps. Himself in the inside wall. He's going to get himself a bonus point for a lap led. Got himself the aid of a couple lucky dogs. The most out of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, maximizing your points when you're not going to be able to get the win, but at least get those bonus points and just try to get the best finish you can.
It's so important to get those good finishes at the beginning of the season, too, because when the point standings are so close, a good finish, a top 5, can move you up 7, 8, 9 spots in the standings as opposed to 2 or 3 as you get later on into the season. So the sooner you can get those really good finishes, the better off your point situation is going to be as far as where you're going to be in the standings.
Yep.
This is going to be interesting. Zelensky on what I'm pretty certain was a 2-tire strategy, the leader. But remember, the last time that we focused on him, we saw him spin by himself off of turn 4, not being able to get, turn 3 rather, not able to get grip. So would you be a little bit nervous knowing that you've got tires and you may end up dealing with grip issues before this race is over yet again?
I think he might be a little worried about it, but I think he feels like, I mean, I've had the car control to not hit the wall. Might as well try to risk it with 2 tires, get the positionings that I need, be up front, and see if there might be another caution.
My assumption is we're going to see the 2-car on pit road this next time around, probably when the leaders get the indication of 1 lap to green. If indeed that's the case, then Zelensky will cycle around to the race lead with Krzyzewski 2nd, Jeremy Yancey 3rd, Damian Leniger 4th, Tyler Riggs in 6th, and the rest of your top 10 would be Joshua Clark, Matthew Weeks, Joshua Furr, and Jared Rexing. However, if the 2-car stays out, then just move everybody that I just said down a position. Looks like the 38 car of M. Daniel Martinez has taken his car back behind the wall after that pretty significant lick we saw him take into the inside wall. So it looks like we are going to have a total of 27 cars back here, and all 27 are on the lead lap. Good, I believe, get the 1 to green signal this next time around, which means that we will be restarting with 18 laps left to go here at Pocono.
All right, we're going to see if the 2-car goes in.
He might be indicating he's pitting. Yep,
go.
He will. Everybody will get lined up. No surprise that Zelensky's going to choose the outside line for the restart. And before he had his spin, it was a great battle between himself and Yancey. You also had Leniger in that mix as well, and that is your top 4 here for this restart. So they're going to rekindle the battle they had a few laps ago, about 10 laps ago.
Yeah,
it's 20 laps remaining.
It's going to be a little bit different this time around just because of the tire wear. And they're a little bit of a differential. I mean, we saw Frankenfield with 2 tires and just hold on his own, but for how long can he really hold out?
It'd be the interesting question. I also think that we're going to see these drivers maybe be more aggressive even now than they were earlier. With 18 laps to go in this restart, I think now we have gotten into the window where we can safely say they will probably be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel. So I don't think they'll be saving. I don't think they'll be conservative. I think they're going to be going 110% now the rest of the way.
Oh, yeah. I'm just expecting it to really heat up with 15 to go. There's no letting off in turn 2 anymore. It's hold your ground and try to get the best position you can get. And if you're up front, it's get to the leader as fast as possible. The draft is making it so no one is just pulling away that much. I think the furthest we've seen is 2 cars being maybe a second ahead of everyone else. But then third place catching up. We'll see if anyone can break away, but we haven't seen it yet.
You're definitely right. This has not been a runaway race for any one driver by any stretch. And another thing I think that's going to be interesting too is here on these restarts, we saw a lot of give and take. A driver would have position on you going into turns 1 and 2, you'd let them by. I don't think that's going to be happening now. You're going to be racing every driver for every position. As it's going to be Zelensky leading us down, green flag back in the air with 18 laps to go.
Zelensky, no one's close to him. He's going to have a nice little breakaway, and we're going to see the battle for second to see who's going to be there.
That outside line is going to be the preferred in that battle for third place. It's going to slot to second. And as soon as I say that, 12 car slips up the track. Leniger is going to lose third, maybe fourth. Look at the 10 all the way down underneath the double yellow line there, the dotted yellow line, as he was trying to make a move underneath. I think that was the 25 of Joshua Furr.
Trying to make a move, but it's going to hurt him. He's going to lose a lot of places after that move.
Definitely is he got... I don't think that that's an out of bounds either. I think a double yellow line, you are allowed to try and go down and pass as we're watching this battle for fourth place. Frankenfield to the inside of Leniger.
We got the 4 car trying to make a move on the leader.
He is there. Going way down to the bottom, trying to get the one. We'll see if Zelensky can hold on the outside line. Remember, he only took 2 tires, though. Tires off the corner definitely are the advantage.
And we saw this when Frankenfield tried the 2 tires. It was good to hold for about a lap or 2, and then the 4 tires just kicked in and were passing everybody.
Howard was into the wall a little bit back there in turn 1, but keeps it straight, keeps it going, as now we'll have to see if Jeremy Yancey can run down the 4 of Zelensky. Still just holding there in that third position, but now he's under fire for that position from Frankenfield in the 15. And wow, look at Frankenfield, the run he got off the exit of turn 3. No contest. He'll take the 3rd spot before they even get to turn 1.
Next battle we have going on is for 7th and 8th.
Very fine. Joshua Furr, Matthew Weeks, Isaiah Dupree up there as well. Joshua Personette, we see Jared Rexing, who we saw way down below that double or that dotted yellow line, as we got a battle up here at 97, proving right there the 4 tires are king. He is losing spots hand over fist. He just lost 1 to Leniger. He lost 1 to Joshua Clark. Tyler Riggs now to his inside, and here comes Matthew Weeks. So that strategy did not work out for the 97 at all.
Yeah, I think he's going to toss the 2-tower strategy out the window and just stick with 4 after this.
He needs right now is a caution so he can maybe come to pit road, maybe try and pick up some positions on new tires, but I don't know if we're going to see that yellow flag or not. Still 15 laps to go, so still anything can happen here. The lead heating up once again. Jeremy Yancey has reeled in the 4 machine. He is right on his back bumper, about half a car length off. And not too far behind them, that neon yellow Menards machine of Chad Frankenfield, waiting in the wings to see what happens with this battle.
We're going to see what Yancey does here in turn 3. If he's going to try to make the move entering turn 3 or just going to run off.
He's got to make sure he does this. If he does make the move, he's got to make the move and clear. If they remain side by side for too long, we saw what happened before when Krzyzewski and the 97 of side Yancey reeled them in. Like the two of them were 10 miles per hour slower. So if these two up front get side by side, that's going to bring Frankenfield right up into the lead picture as well. A little bit of a higher exit, it looked like there out of turn 1. Maybe trying to get better straightaway speed for the 51 of Yancey, but round here as they'll head into 2. Again, to the point you said, nobody's been able to get away. Only 0.2 of a second right now separation between the top 2. And I don't think we've really seen a gap from first to second exceed half a second.
No, we have not seen it at all. But with Yancey losing on the leader, giving Frankenfield a chance to get the draft right here.
Definitely is. Battle might be on for second place, and the caution flag is out. 6th caution of the day. Changes a little bit of some of the things we were seeing, because this could be the opportunity for the 97 of Zelensky to come to pit road, get tires. Frankenfield's up to 3rd place now. To get the restart, maybe with 10, possibly 9 laps to go.
Looks like it was the 13 car going around.
We can find out what happened to him.
Looks like coming off of turn number 4.
Vincent Isabella had spent a good portion of this race up inside the top 15. Another incident off turn 3, and I think this is going to look an awful lot like the Zelensky spin. Right here, that is, I believe, the 86 to his inside. He might have got a little bit of help.
I think he did get help with that one.
Yeah. Couldn't tell who that was behind him. Might have been the 73 of Michael Goodman.
75 of Logan Simeon.
Oh, Logan Simmons, okay.
Yeah, because you watch it and Logan just comes in way hotter and just hits him in the rear left quarter panel.
Oh, that is first incident in quite a while that we've actually seen due to contact. Most of our cautions have been drivers losing grip and spins. We'll take a look here on board, see what the speed difference was between the 75 of Logan Simmons and the 13 of Vincent Isabella.
Well, with this caution, we're now going to be under 10 laps to go.
This is going to be very, very interesting to see just exactly now who's got the short run car, it seems. Well, I don't know, maybe 10, maybe less than 10 laps. If we get like 8-9 laps, you might be able to run setup, or you're better on the long run. You might be able to have something for the closing stages, perhaps.
Yeah, and I'm expecting to see everyone take 4 tires here. If you're taking 2, you're banking on a caution within the first 2 laps of this upcoming green.
The 73 of Michael Goodman stayed out, as we're back here for the pit stops. I think that more than likely the spotters noticed what happened when Zelensky tried staying out in 2 tires, and they said, nope, we're all going with 4.
Oh, is Chad Frankenfield going to get it off pit road?
Not quite. Close.
but he is gonna get up one position on.
He'll move up to second place. And it looks like, well, I was going to say I thought that caution really helped the 97 of Zelensky, but it looks like he might have gotten hit with a penalty. So it looks like he will be starting the field. Got the 13 of Vincent Isabella shown out in front. Now remember, he spun onto pit road. Not of his own making. He was spun by the 75, so he was allowed to take service. I don't know if they'll necessarily EOL him or if he will be allowed to. Here, we'll have to wait for the official word on that. He might actually be the race leader on this start. We'll have to wait and see. With him spinning out, I don't necessarily know if he would be closed pit.
It looks like they're going.
And it looks like he's going to come to pit road. Yep, so he's coming in. Michael Goodman stayed out that extra lap. So it will indeed be Krasniewski, the race leader. This time today, we are going to see Chad Frankenfield start on the front row. So this is going to be interesting to see how much of a challenge he's going to be able to put up. Undoubtedly, he'll probably get stuck on the inside line.
Most likely, because all the leaders have been picking the outside.
See how much of a fight he's able to put up there. Jeremy Yancey will line up third. Damian Leniger in fourth. I think these cautions are not what he wants to see. He seems to have little slip-ups on the restarts, but then once we get into green flag conditions and he's able to get his car under him, he's had a pretty strong race car all day. Tyler Riggs will line up in fifth. Joshua Clark in sixth. Matthew Weeks in seventh. Joshua Furr back up to 8th, Isaiah Dupree in 9th, and Joshua Personet will be lining up position.
Yeah, I mean, last week's winner, Tyler Riggs, he's been slowly inching into the top 5. I mean, he's been in the middle of the pack all race long, and each caution, it seems like he moves up at least a position or two. It's good to see him be moving up.
Definitely running very consistent after his victory last week at Lucas Oil. Everybody as well that next week to be in for a very challenging race as we're going to be going to Richmond International Raceway. And some people call it a short track, some people call it a speedway. I call it a speedway with short track characteristics.
Yeah, I mean, the speeds they get up to is kind of like a speedway, and then the corners just feel like a short track. It's a good mixture of both.
See who's going to carry the momentum into Richmond with taking a checkered flag here today. And really just about everybody up here inside of the top 5, top 6 are drivers that we've talked about during the course of this day. I mean, you've had Justin Krasniewski, who I think has led the most laps. He spent the most time out in front. You've got Chad Frankenfield, who's been at the front, fallen to the back, moved his way back up mid-pack, fell to the back again, now back up here at the front. So he's had a roller coaster day. Jeremy Yancey started on the pole. He kind of faded back a little. Now he's back up here, and he's been challenging for the race lead on the last couple of restarts. There in fourth place, you had Joshua Clark, who's been very quietly remaining up in the top 6, 7 all day long. And then last week's winner, Tyler Riggs. So the pressure's on. Who do you have here in these final, looks like it's going to be 8 laps of this race? Who's going to rise to the occasion? Who do you think's got the best car?
I think right now Justin Kerensky's probably got the best chance. I mean, he's been holding the lead. I think he's the one of the few leaders that's just been up front, holding the lead when he can. There's a few times in pit stops that he just doesn't have the lead, but when he has it, he hasn't lost it.
My eyes deceive me, or is he taking the inside line on this restart?
I think he's just hoping that he gets a good runoff, gets a good restart, beats out Frankenfield. That's probably what he's hoping for.
Probably hoping that maybe Jeremy Yancey gets a good jump too, and it'll be a battle for second behind him rather than him having to contest with Frankenfield for the lead. Have to see here though, because I don't know. 9 laps to go. There's still plenty of room for error. I still don't think we've seen our last caution. As the laps wind down, the aggression level gets higher and higher. There will be a total of 26 cars still in this race, all on the lead lap that will take this green with 8 laps to go. Gears goes Justin Krzyzewski, and he's going to open up a pretty good distance before they get to turn 1. Field's going to slot into second place now. Yancey's going to try and look for second as he's in third, right behind him, Leniger in fourth. To get a nice run there off of turn 1. Let's even get some draft down here into turn 2.
Top 5 cars are all in a line until you get to about 6. That's when they're finally getting doubled up.
Out there between Joshua Furr, Tyler Riggs, Matthew Weeks, as up front, the gap visibly beginning to close between first and second.
Jeremy Yancey is looking like he might make a move on second.
Drive it in deep there, almost got into the back of the 15 of Frankenfield. Had to check up a little bit. And now the breaking of draft, the snaking down the straightaways begins.
They're hoping to break away these top 4. You know, once they start battling and they get side by side, it's going to help second pack to catch up to them, and it's just going to get messy.
Now it looks like Joshua Clark is leading that second group. He's got Joshua Furr, Tyler Riggs right behind him. As battles on for second. Wow, did you see the run the 51 of Jeremy Yancey got going into the corner?
You kind of could see it going into 1. He just got a better run into 1, and just the momentum off of 1 just helped him get side by side into 2 and now entering into 3.
To get the side draft off the 15 of Frankenfield. Slides up the track, little contact as he moves him up out of the groove. And that, I think, might give the spot to the 51. Here comes the 12 of Leniger. He's trying to get into this fight as well.
The battle for seconds heating up while first is trying to pull away. Get the first pull away from all this race, but it's not going to happen. Jeremy Yancey still on his heel.
Here comes Leniger. He's going to get the third position away from Frankenfield, who I think overran turn 1. Went way up high in the corner and now loses touch with the top 3. Now it's Jeremy Yancey trying to reel in Justin Krzyzewski for the race lead as we've got about 5.5 laps to go.
Frankenfield's going to fall all the way back. He lost so much time. He's almost lost it to Joshua Clark.
There was almost a stack up there with drivers starting to reel him in. Clark and Furr and Riggs all right there trying to capitalize on the mistake we saw Frankenfield make. And you can see the gap is starting to close up between first, second, and third. But again, if these guys start battling, Frankenfield might be able to gather it back up, reel these guys back in. We may not have heard the last of him yet.
Laps are winding down, and everything is starting to heat up. Here comes Yancey. He's closing so well into 1. I feel like he's got the best entry into 1 out of everyone on the track right now.
Definitely gets good exit as well as he continues to close up the gap, trying to get the draft down the straightaway. You can see as he's closing in on the 4, he's actually pulling away from the 12, so he definitely is getting a toe off the back of the race leader. Got a car down there out of the way of the leaders, so these leaders can continue to race for the lead. And I still kind of wonder about that 15. We saw that he had a strong car, just made a mistake. He's starting to, by himself, reel these top 3 back in, but does he have enough time?
I don't think he does. With each lap that's winding down, it's looking like it might just come down to the front 2.
Jeremy Yancey trying to go coast to coast. He started P1. He wants to finish P1, but the driver that's led the most laps, Justin Krzyzewski, he's trying to lead the most important last lap of this event. The two of them still only separated by about 0.2 of a second as they head off 1.
It really looks like the gap hasn't changed at all. They're keeping it close, but it's just not enough. Jeremy Yancey needs to get a better run off of 2 right here.
Think that maybe he's waiting a little bit, trying to see where he can get the better run, because if you make your move too soon, you might be a sitting duck to the driver behind you.
That's true, but the 12 car, I mean, they're all keeping their distance right now. They really haven't gained or lost anything yet.
And at the lap times right now, and the fastest car on track that time around, amazingly enough, was the 12 of Damian Leniger. So does he have something in the closing stages for the top 2? We've got a total of 3 laps to go here at Pocono.
Leininger might be waiting for his time, waiting for the front two to get side by side before he can make his move.
Definitely, that could be something that could be hit to his advantage. If the top two get side by side, get stalled out, that might be Leininger's opportunity to pounce. Gap has opened up a little bit now to just about 3/10 between the top two, but still within striking distance if he can get a good run down with these straightaways. Caution is out!
That changes everything.
Oh, yes it does. I don't think we're going to be finishing this race under green, at least for the official scheduled laps. This has green, white, checkered written all over it.
Oh, there it has to go green, white, checkered.
Here's the question. Do you come to pit road? See what tires can do. I know that, but I mean, you run the risk that maybe someone stays out, or if you stay out, you run the risk competitors come to pit road. This is a huge gamble these drivers are going to have to make.
I think the risk is going for two tires. That's the real. I mean, we've seen Frankenfield try it out. He's made him last for at least 2 laps, and that might be enough.
Just to let people know ahead of time, the ticker will probably not be showing you what the lap counter is when the green, white, checkered happens, as it's not really overtime. But green, white, checkered 2 laps. They have to make it to the white flag for it to be official. And this is where it's going to be very interesting. We're going to try and see if we can find out real quickly. We brought out the caution. I think it might have been the 72. We'll stick here with the race leaders, wait until pit road's open, see what happens, and then we'll go back and see what brought out the yellow, because this right here could be a very important pit stop if indeed they do come to pit road. That's got to be in the toughest spot right now. It's got to be the race leader. Because what he does, everybody else might do the opposite. If he stays out, we'll probably see everybody else try and hit pit road.
Yeah, looking back through the cautions, it was number 5 losing it in turn 1.
Number 5 car bringing out this caution. We will go back and look and see just exactly what happened to him. But for now, we're going to stay. Pit road, I believe, will be open this time. So what is the strategy? Who's going to come? Who's going to stay out? I have some takers, some fakers. We got some fakers.
Ooh, we got 2 fakers.
Yes, we do. So it looks like Krasnetsky will stay out. Leininger will stay out. But the first one to pit from second place was the 51, Jeremy Yancey. So let's see. Come out. Looks like some others stayed out as well. The 28 of Joshua Clark stayed out. The 54 of Rishav Khosla stayed out. Chris Jordan, Stephen McGough, Logan Simmons, and Vincent Isabella, who brought out our latest caution. They all stayed out. Oh, Yancey's team did not get the pit stop they wanted. They lose a couple of spots on pit road. It's like Joshua Furr and Jared Rexing came out ahead of them. Just when you think you got this race figured out.
You know, people just want to stay out, try to get the best position they can. This is going to get real interesting real quick. There are enough.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
There are enough cars that stayed out that this could cause issues.
Could, because I'm trying to remember. We went back green with 8 to go, so they ran about 5-6 laps on that set of tires. Definitely be enough to cause them to be much slower than those that just took on 2 or 4. I believe 2 tire pit stops were Joshua Furr and Jared Rexing. I think Yancey was the first one that went with 4 tires. It's going to really shake things up, and we could see a lot of drivers that have been at the front all day long find themselves boxed in behind slower machines in the closing stages of this race. With that many drivers staying out, do you think it's advantage to the 4 car?
I mean, you got to think so. He's still been quick. I'm so happy to see Joshua Clark. He's been just risking it with different pit stops throughout the whole entire race, and he's up there in 3rd.
I have to see. We got the rookie, if you will, Rishav Khosla, rolling the dice, trying to get another top 5 run. Go look here and see what happened to the 5 car of Alec Balvance. This was, I believe, coming off of turn number 2. Right here, just gets loose, goes down, gets the wall pretty well with the left front. The caution with, at the time, 3 laps to go and sets us up for this green-white checkered. So, the top 8 drivers did not come to pit road. 10th went with 2 tires, 11th on back, 4 tires. Question is, strategy.
Also on these restarts, we've been seeing the front 5 cars have been getting pretty much lined up once this green comes down, which it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for cars to start passing them. There's just so many cars to pass. I got to give it to... I mean, the 12th car, like you said, was the fastest car on track. He was behind. He had the draft helping him, so... let's see how much that's really helping. I think the 4 car probably has it.
It's going to come down to the restart, I think, as far as whether he can get a good jump. He's been good the last couple of times to be able to open up a car length or 2 before they get to turn 1. If he can nail a restart like that this time, then I think that he's definitely going to have a pretty good odds of taking this checkered flag.
Now, if there's another caution making us have another green-white checkered, then things are going to get interesting for the 4 car and everyone that stayed out.
I think that's why you're going to have the drivers from 8th place on back, or from 9th place on back, be very aggressive here, because if they do get another caution, they're going to want to pick up as many spots and pass as many of those slower cars as they can to have themselves restart closer to the front of the field if we do get another green-white checkered.
But if there isn't a caution, I'm putting my chips down on this 4 car.
Agree with you on that. He has been solid all day. He's nailed restarts. This time, he's going back to the outside line. The inside line worked for him against Frankenfield on the last restart, but he's going back to the outside line, probably because he's got the older tires now. If the 12 of Damian Leniger can get the restart of his life to, if not be still to the inside of the 4 into turn 1, at least be within striking distance, 4 car wants to see is the white flag, because that means if he gets to the line, that white flag is waving, race will end no matter what.
Lights are out on the pace car. We are going this time.
Ever with the freshest tires, 2 tires, that's Joshua Furr on the inside of row 5. The top 8 did not pit. So that white car, 5th on that inside line, is the one to maybe watch to see if he can cut his way through the field. Not sure that 2 laps is enough time to work your way up there, but then again, let's not forget how quickly Levi Zielinski fell through the field when he stayed out with 2 tires. Maybe we'll see these drivers up here towards the front lose an awful lot of time quicker than we would expect.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how 2 tires works, but now it's time to see what no tires and how that's going to do. It's old tires against new. We're going green. Here we go. Green, white, checkered.
The car gets a good jump, but that's going to allow the 12 car to be able to line up behind him. Oh, look at the 28 making a move there. Joshua Clark trying to go for 2nd place, and he is there. That's going to help the 4 to be able to pull away.
How long are these 2 going to stay side by side for 2nd? There's the caution.
Is out. Another yellow flag. We did not get to the white. Oh, hard hit for Goodman back in the inside wall. 73 hit hard off of that corner. Yellow flag, which means another restart. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe tire top 8 still stayed up in the top 8. So those drivers with the fresher tires didn't gain an awful lot.
Well, they never really had the chance to. I mean, I think all of the new tires are going to make their move in turn 2 into turn 3. But now you have the choice with these cars that didn't take tires this last caution. They have to make the decision. Do you all stay out, or do some of you pit for tires?
think at this point, they've made their beds. They're going to have to lie in them. I think no matter how many cautions, how many green-white checkers, they've got to stay out now. They're going to be willing to give up all those positions to come to pit road when they've made this much of a gamble. Back, I don't know if necessarily it was the 73 that brought the caution out. Hit the wall, but it was actually after the caution had waved, so he might have actually been a follow-up wreck. It was actually, I believe, the 10 car of Rexing, that Jared Rexing, who was up inside of the top 15 on that restart, that brought the yellow flag out.
You hate to see it, man.
You do. I mean, he was strong all day long. Find out what happens to him. He was on the outside for that restart. And he's to the outside of the 75 of Simmons. Ooh, little contact there into the left rear, courtesy of the 15 of Frankenfield. And that's what got him loosened up and into the wall. Here, we go to the 73. He's already spun out. Well, happened there also around was the 27.
All right, looks like some cars are going to be faking it. Joshua Clark was thinking about it, but just faking people out.
Oh, nowhere for Dupree in the 27 to go, and I believe the 38 of M. Daniel Martinez got a piece of that as well. I had originally thought that he was out of the race, but he continued on. You can see the whole front of that car got completely ripped off. A wreck and then a follow-up wreck. And that is what brings out this most recent caution, sets us up for yet another green-white checkered. And interesting thing, was ahead of Damian Leniger when that yellow flag came out, so he's going to be the one to restart second. Had himself a really good restart there. Hang with Leniger for that second place battle. Now we'll see. Does he have anything perhaps for the race leader?
I think at this point, you're just trying to all survive all the fresher tires that are coming for sure.
This point, top 8, still the same 8 drivers that stayed out under the last caution. Joshua Furr is right now in 9th with 2 tires. Chad Frankenfield with 4 tires is 10th. See Tyler Riggs in 11th and 12th. Jared Rexing, we saw involved in the incident that brought out the caution. He's now back in 25th. He's still running, though. It's Michael Goodman. He's in 24th. And I believe Martinez is still running. I don't know how. The whole front nose of that car was completely ripped off. It's out of the race after what we saw. It was the 27 of Dupree. So we still have 26 cars, I believe. Cars still running. And I believe, nope, we're still going to have ourselves another lap of caution here. Back there, the 12 trying to warm up his tires. Last thing you want to do is have made a gamble like this and then spin your tires on the restart.
Yeah, while we are in a little bit of downtime, lights are still on the pace car. Brandon Key, I mean, you thought he was going to finish last of all the cars that started today with how bad that first caution was. He's up to 22nd right now.
Right now, he's around a number of other drivers that have had issues today. There you see Alec Balvance in the 5. We saw him spin earlier on. Not too far behind him, the 73 of Michael Goodman, who we just saw involved in a wreck. Peter Hayward just up ahead of him, who I saw in the turn 1 wall at one point. So yeah, just soldiering on. Tired, finished somewhere around the 29th, 30th position. Right now, he's in 22nd. So, you know, while it doesn't sound great, it's a lot better than where he could have finished.
Exactly. Back to the lead.
As it stands right now, the odds are definitely in favor of us having a different race winner this season because Tyler Riggs is mired back in the 12th position. The question is, though, who is that different winner going to be? Przemski has been the dominant car. He's been good on these restarts. I think what it's going to come down to, or not, he can kind of do what he did on last restart and force a battle for second place, allowing him to be able to pull away.
I mean, we saw Clark have a great restart in this last restart. But we'll see how good of a one he gets here. If he can get a clean start, get past the 12th car, and just try to battle for the lead, it's giving him the best chance, and it's not going to let Przemski just pull away.
Joshua Furr, I'm pretty certain, started 9th on the last restart. He's back on that inside line again, 5th on that inside line, but as you said, he didn't really have a whole lot of time to be able to make moves. To his outside in 10th, first car with 4 tires, Frankenfield, we saw he was very aggressive as he was the one that made the contact that sent Rexing up into the wall. Those are the two that are probably going to be the movers and shakers to try and get up here to the front, but I don't know. Just with 8 cars and only 2 laps to work with, I just don't know if that's enough time for those tires to be able to produce enough speed to get up there.
I mean, what the tires really need is a full green-white checker, not just for it to get the white flag, but for it to be all the way to the checkered. Because if they can stay green for that whole entire time, after 1 lap, you have a solid shot to pass all these cars with how much faster you are with fresher tires.
The only question is, though, can you find a lane to be able to get by them? And in the corners especially, you can end up having them double wide ahead of you, get boxed in. There's no grip up in that 3rd lane, so there's no sense of going up there. You're just going to lose time as a result. So any kind of moves that are going to get them up there, they're going to have to make it on these long straightaways.
Oh, 100% they're going to have to. Skin those runs off the corner with fresher tires and just trying to pass them in the middle of straightaways or entering the corner. And like you said, try not to get boxed in. If you get boxed in, your whole entire night, it should be just stalled out right there.
Przemski, when he had Frankenfield alongside him, took the inside. Last restart, he took the outside. He's back on the inside this time as the pace car peels off. Time for another green-white checkered.
Joshua Clark's going to get a great restart and sticking with the 4 car.
Let's see if he can either stay to the outside or slot in line in second. He's right there. We'll see if he can do anything with the draft on these long straightaways.
We got it 3 wide back behind all of our, back to 4th. But it's all about the leaders. The runoff. Joshua Clark with a huge runoff to turn 1.
Now take a look at the 12. Let's see what he's going to do if these two remain side by side. Clark trying to get the move into 2. I think he's got him cleared, and he does.
For how long? Here comes the 12
Wants
car.
to see the white flag, though. And now here comes the 4. Contact between himself and the 12. Still 3-way battle.
Now.
Caution again. Another yellow flag.
It's not over yet. We get to try again.
Here's the thing, though. This is the first time in a long time that Justin is not going to determine the restart. That's going to determine it, as I'm pretty certain he was ahead at the time of the yellow being thrown.
Joshua Clark started the race
Waiting in the wings.
24th.
The whole time I thought he was just kind of hanging and not really going to be much of a challenge, and obviously he had something that he was holding back with.
I mean, we
I
saw...
do believe the caution came out for another driver that was up near the front, the 25 of Joshua Furr.
Oh, no, not Furr.
Started, I believe it was in the 9th position, and I'm pretty certain he was the cause of this latest caution. Oh, yeah, he definitely was. Rode a lot of right and rear end damage on that number 25 machine.
Furr was looking like he was having a great run. I mean, in the middle of the race, he had to go all the way back and saving his car from an amazing spin earlier on in the race, then gets wrecked out in the second green-white checkered.
There it was, 3 wide. That is Yancey on the bottom, Furr in the middle. You got the 83 of McCo on the outside, and that neon number 15 of Frankenfield there as well. Let's see where the contact begins here. Wow, almost looked like the 25 came up the track across the nose of Frankenfield. And Frankenfield, obviously, this is a green-white checkered. You're not going to lift. The 25 up into the wall hard and immediately has to head for pit road. That is a tough break there for... Spent a good portion of the beginning of this race up inside the top 10, was up in the top 10 here late. Strategy got him some track position, but doesn't look like he'll be finishing out this race with the looking for.
It's looking like Frankenfield is going to get a penalty, which is going to drop him all the way back to the back of the pack.
Frankenfield, I believe that is the second back-to-back incident that he has been involved in. So, we rack them up, we do it again.
I guess so. I still cannot believe Joshua Clark I know he's been having amazing restarts, but man, was that a restart he needed coming in second to taking the lead off of 2, and oh my goodness, the runs he was getting.
First time, really, we've seen anybody to be able to hang with Krasniewski on a restart as well. So definitely well-timed, and now he's going to be the Pied Piper. He's going to get to choose when he goes. And if Krasniewski's going to be able to hang with him.
The few times we've seen Krasniewski be in second and restarting, he hasn't had the best starts. I mean, he's been lagging behind sometimes, so we're going to have to see how well he does here, starting in second.
Going to be a very interesting restart as well, because Jeremy Yancey up to the 7th position, with Frankenfield having to drop to the back with that penalty. So he will line up.
It's a fake.
He's faking this out. He's just kidding us. So he's going to line up, talking about Yancey, he's going to line up 4th on that inside line. We'll have to see if he's going to have enough time to work. I think maybe being that close, now it might be doable. When they were back 9th, 10th, that seemed a little too far back. 7th doesn't seem as far back as possible now.
Yeah, and it's honestly giving Yancey the best shot. If, like I was saying, if we go full 2 laps of green-white checkered, these guys with 4 fresh tires are going to come flying through this pack.
We saw back on the replay that Yancey was on the bottom 3 wide, and he was starting to pass some of those drivers that had stayed out. We are able to get, as you said, that full green-white checkered again. If maybe the 51's got something here for what would now be the top 6. Lead, Krasniewski in 2nd. You got Leniger 3rd, Jordan 4th, 5th, and Isabella right now in 6th. Those are the drivers that are still up there on old tires. Then you got Jeremy Yancey in 7th. How about Kendall Noah Player? Been a while since we talked about him. He's now up in the 8th position, and I'm pretty certain he was one of the drivers that took 4 tires. Stephen McGough in 9th, and Tyler Riggs still hanging there in that 10th position. But that 94 car, we might not have heard the last of him.
No siree.
I've been a little bit surprised we haven't seen work his way back up to the front, and that's Levi Zelensky. Back around the midway point, he was in a tussle for that race lead. Saw him have a spin, and he has not been able to work his way up to the front, still mired back in the 16th position. I think the highest he's been able to get back close to the front is around 14th place. So I don't know. I don't think he got any damage from his spin, but that car just does not seem to have been the same after he's been put back in traffic.
Well, also his spin was kind of later on, and there's been a lot of cautions since then. So he hasn't really had the opportunity to catch up and get past all these cars, and there were a lot of cars that he had to pass.
Well, Joshua Clark has chosen the inside line here for this restart. He'll stick Krasniewski to the outside line. Going to be the one. The 28 will be determining the restart, determining the acceleration point. This is our 3rd green-white checkered attempt. Let's see if it's our last, or will we see another yellow? I don't know if this series has unlimited green-white checkers or not.
I don't know either. We'll find out if there's another caution, or we'll find out once we get to the checkered flag.
We'll see what Joshua Clark's able to do. We've seen him on the offensive. Now it's time to see what he can do on the defensive. We know that the 4-car has been very good on the offensive, utilizing the draft when we saw him, Levi Zelensky, earlier on. So we'll see if he's able to put that kind of pressure on Clark, or does Clark have a game plan to keep that 4 machine at bay?
Okay, it's time to take a breath. Really settle yourself, because the lights are out. You've just got
talking about us or the drivers?
I think both right now, because it's about to get crazy.
Oh my goodness. And here's the thing. Come out, I really think we'd have had a 3-dog fight. I think Damian Leniger was going to close in on the top 2 that were side by side at the time. Let's see if that battle rekindles again.
All right, coming off of turn number 3, the pace car is going to peel off, and it's time to see. It's the third time. It's third time the charm for us to finish this race. Jordan Clark's going to lead the pack.
Get the field up a little bit there, got back through the gears, pulls away a bit, maybe about a car length and a half, but the 4 of Krasinski's going to slot into second place. Let's see if he's got anything for Clark now.
Going into turn number 2, who's going to get the run off and who's going to stay close? There's a lot of action going on behind. Tyler Rakes is going to fall back. But we're going to see the 4-car get a huge run off the corner and keep it close going into number 2.
88 ran a defensive line off turn 1, tried to go a little bit lower on exit. That allowed the 4 to get the run down this straightaway. Will he make a move into 2?
The man we need to watch out for, it's that 51. Jeremy.
Car up into the wall. He saved it though. I think that was the 58 perhaps up into the wall, but we're still green.
The fresher tires, the 51 car is screaming past everyone.
Battle for the lead, contact between the 4 and the 28. Here comes the 12, the 51 cautions out. Woo! They did not take the white. Oh, and the 12 spins. When he got collected. Oh, there's several drivers involved. The 83's in it. The 86, the 12 almost upside down. 94 was collected as well. Just ahead of the start-finish line.
Yancey was coming with a head of steam and just didn't really care who was in front of him and bumped into the 12 car and caused all that chaos after the caution.
Lead cycles back around now to Justin Krasinski after he had some contact between himself and Joshua Clark for the lead. That moved Clark out of the groove. He's now fallen back to the 4th position, but Yancey's now up to 2nd. Question is they going to put the fault of this wreck on the 51, or is he going to keep his spot in the 2nd position? Remember, he's got 4 fresh tires against the older tires that the 4-car has. If he lines up on the front row, Yancey's race to win.
Honestly, with Yancey past everyone, you're better off just going on and getting fresher tires. All the fresh cars are now mixed in with all the cars that didn't pit.
You think that this race, as it winds down, that the aggressive level is kicked up. Most of our cautions in the early portions of this race were minor contact incidents, solo car spins. This was the biggest wreck of the day. And what a tough break for the 12, who right now was still scored in 7th. I think we're waiting for the scoring to update itself, but he's got a lot of front-end damage and did not slow down.
All the people who did not pit at the start of all this green white checkers are now going in to get fresh tires, realizing, okay, Jeremy is quick and we can't hold him off.
That's going to shuffle up the front of the field. We're going to take a look and see here what happened. 12 car was not who brought the caution flag out. Who actually did bring out the yellow. The caution was out, and then the incident with the 12 happened afterwards. I wonder if it might have possibly been the 19 car that might have brought out the yellow flag. We'll check and see. Guess not. Tucker was just sitting on pit road. Really sure who it was that brought out.
Was
22 came to pit road, so it wasn't him. Almost wonder if maybe it might have been the 58. No, he
was it the
just came to pit road.
72? Maybe.
Didn't see anybody spin out until
No,
we had the incident with the 12 car up towards the front.
Yeah, it was further back.
And find it here. If we can't find it, then we'll show you the incident with the 12 car. Oh, there it was. Ben, the 75 car, it was. This is what actually brought the yellow flag out to start with. 96 side by side with, and then contact there. Oh, yeah, the 75 goes up and hits the wall. There was somebody else there that was to the outside of them. I couldn't tell who that was. You can already see the incident is happening up here with the 12 of Lineker. Let's watch this off the corner. This is how it all culminates coming off of turn 2. Out, I believe, at this point. See the 4 drives it in deep. Contact between himself and Clark in the 28. Everybody else trying to find a lane, keeping their foot in the throttle. I don't think there was any contact between the 51 of Yancey and the 12 of Lineker. I think that Lineker swerved left into the side of the 51, but I do not think either one of them made contact with the other.
I don't know. It was just a lot of things going on. Might have been loose. Might have just surprised that the 51 was even there.
Oh, that hard hit. 12 car going up into the air after hits from the 86, the 94. Just like that. A driver that spent most of the day up inside of the top 5 finds himself now at the tail end of the field. Tough break there for Damian Lineker. Certainly nothing to be ashamed of his performance this entire race, but break for one of the cars that could have very well been.
Yeah. Well, base lights are out for the pace car, and guess who's in the lead right now? Our pole sitter, Jeremy.
He started first. He wants to finish first. And how about the rookie there? I think he's still a driver out there on old tires.
I believe so.
Surprised the 94 is still up here. Kendall Noah Player took a pretty hard shot into the 12. Spinning, so I don't know how up speed he's going to be.
He's probably just trying to stay up there. He's got fresh tires. Hoping for the best. But here's the thing. Practically everyone up there has fresh tires except for like 2 or 3 cars.
The cars that are still on their old tires are the 54 of Kosla, the 13 of Isabella, and possibly the 83 of Mago. And how about, we were just talking earlier about he hadn't cracked the top 10 again. Levi Zelensky's up there in the 8th position, so we may not have seen the last of him yet, but he's going to be boxed on that outside line. Here, though, I think that's the 96 back there. I think that's the 8 without a front end. Some of these cars look like they've been in the demo derby instead of a race here at Pocono, but still soldiering on, trying to salvage whatever positions they can. Bit of connection issues there with our race leader. Oh, here we go again. Same song, 4th verse.
here we go again. Into turn number 1. Jeremy Yancey holding the lead. And I don't know if anyone's going to catch him this time.
The 4-car back there, 4 wide on the front straightaway.
58 gets a little sideways. I think he keeps it straight.
We're still green at this point in time. Oh, I think I saw the 97 loose off the corner. There's someone in the wall. Oh, there's a couple cars, 3 cars. One's up and over. That's the Billy Hale machine, the 96. 86 was involved as well, and I think saw snap loose. Might have been the 40 of Chris Young. Caution's out again.
Think we might be done, but we're not.
When you guys ordered a soft drink for this race, you ordered the extra large, because if you ordered the medium, it hasn't lasted you. On the front end there of Chris Young. We know the 96 was up and over of Billy Hale. The 97 spinning, but I guess not. He might have just been loose off the corner. He's still running, though. And somebody else hit that inside wall really hard. I'm not certain who it was. It may have been, actually, well, Clark might have been collected up in that.
I know up front.
We'll go back and see.
13 car was getting into the wall, and then all the caution behind them.
There were like 3 different wrecks that took place all in the same area. And a number of drivers took some hard licks into that inside wall. See who it starts with. May have actually started with the 73 of Goodman. Focus first on the hard hit by the 96 of Billy Hale. 4 wide going into turn 1. They're still 4 wide here. Contact right there. 96 down into, I think that was, and oh my goodness. That's the 83 of Mako. You had the 86 there of Ethan Reasoner, and then you also had the 96 up and over, and the car that was behind them that hit the wall was indeed. Oh, the restarts keep happening, the hits keep coming. Not crowned ourselves a winner.
Have not. This has just been crazy.
Also noticed that the field is beginning to dwindle down. We had about 28 cars a few laps ago, and with all these wrecks and these green-white checkers, we've only got now, it looks like, around cars that are currently running. We got a car that's sitting on pit road, the 19 of David Tooker. Obviously not in the hunt for this victory, and we've got some issues here with race leader. Keeps lagging in and out, so we'll actually focus on the 94 until the 51 gets his connection issues resolved. For Yancey, with how this has all been able to kind of work in his favor, if all of a sudden he has connection issues.
Trying to listen to race control and figure out what's going on. I think Jansen might have been removed just due to the fact that he was blinking at a restart and caused a whole line an whole entire field not to know when to go.
I did see on that restart, he did kind of check up the drivers that were behind him. One of them was the 94 of Kendall Noah Player. So, if that's the case, boy, start having connection issues.
But if this is the case, then Kendall Noah Player is going to be taking the lead.
Kendall Noah Player, who I'm certain's got some front end damage because he ran into the spinning 12 car of Leniger. Other tires there with Rizshav Kosla. The highest driver with fresh tires would be the 11 of Matthew Weeks, who will be restarting in 3rd.
what it's looking like.
Joshua Personet, he's going to be 4th. Tyler Riggs 5th. Vincent Isabella 6th. Zelensky back up to 7th. Frankenfield 8th. The 4 have to come to pit road under the last caution. Saw him 4 wide on the front straightaway. Justin Krasnetsky, this could put him back into the picture. He's 9th on this restart. And talk about continuing to persevere. 12th place running Brandon Key.
Brandon Key, the man who wrecked in the first caution, thought maybe his race would be over, goes into the pits, comes out last, comes back from being 2 laps down, leads a lap. Now he's just slowly cranking up, might even get a top 10 if there's another caution.
Unbelievable. If he sold that story to Hollywood, they'd probably make it a blockbuster movie, because that is a Cinderella story right there.
Then we got the rookie up in the lead as well, Kosla.
Kosla getting his feet wet last week at Lucas Oil, and I'll tell you what, to be honest, he's the only one with the old tire strategy that's been able to make it work. He's been able to keep himself up there in the top 5.
Well, this is green, white, checkered. What, number 5?
Number 5, I do believe, yep. At some point, if this keeps going, we are going to eventually lose count.
Lose count or something. I believe there is a counter on the time for this server, so this might be our last restart of the night.
Who's going to be fun to watch, too. He's going to be on the inside line, and that's the 4 of Justin Krasnetsky. He is going to probably be making moves on the front straightaway again. Saw him 4 wide on the last restart. I don't put it past him to try 4 wide on this restart.
Here's the thing. When we started these green flag runs, he had, not the strongest tires. He didn't go in get fresh tires. And now he's got the freshest tires on track.
He made a pass on at least 4, maybe 5 drivers before we even got to turn 1. So take that into consideration. Restarting back in 9th, we could see him up as high as 5th place when we get into turn 1 on this restart if he times it right.
Okay, let's be fair though. He was passing a lot of cars that had damage, so we'll give him that. But he is moving pretty quick with fresher tires.
Looks like the outside line is the line that Kendall Noah player is going to choose, putting Ryszard Kosla on the inside. How ironic though. About Yancey, we were talking about Zelensky, we were talking about Frankenfield, Krasnetsky. Now we've got a whole new top 5 up here.
Tyler Riggs, the man who won it last week, he's up in the top 5 right now.
He is. Gonna line up 3rd on that inside line, so we'll see if he's got anything to maybe double down and go 2 in a row to start off the season. Well, it's buckle up time again.
Coming around, turn number 3. Lights are out. This could be the final one. And here we go. The pace car is going to go driving down to pit road, giving the power to Kendall Noah player. Will this be it?
Himself a good jump, and right behind him was Joshua Personet, trying to take 2nd away from Kosla. Side by side behind him, going to allow him to pull away? Maybe not.
Kosla not really with a good start, but giving the 7 a huge run on the outside to go past them. So does the 11. Everyone's starting to make moves.
Too wide behind him. 97 of Zelensky might have gotten the wall there just a little bit. And look at this. It's not over. Joshua Personet's all over the back bumper of the 94.
Another car to watch out for is this 4 car. He's got the fresher tires. He's got the speed. He's trying to make moves.
The 6th, now trying to go for 5th on Matthew Weeks. Watching here, the battle for 2nd. Ryszard Kosla to the inside of Personet. Right now, Noah player wants to see that white flag. If we see the white flag, it's definitely the last attempt we'll have. Look at Frankenfield down the inside, 3 wide.
Here they come. This is it. This is the final lap.
The 4 might be back too far. Same for the 15. Got a slow car up ahead there. Hopefully he'll get out of the way of the race leaders.
The battle for 2nd is what's heating up and seeing who's going to catch Kendall Noah player.
corner off turn 1. It's going to be the 11, looks like, with the advantage. Here he comes with a move to the inside. He's going for the lead. It's Matthew Weeks.
Here comes the 4 car. He's into 4th.
Contact there between the top 2. Here's a 3-wide move by Personette. Can't make it stick. Now he'll go to the inside of the 11. That could be all she wrote, unless that outside line can hook up for Weeks off of turn 3.
Working on off to turn number 3. This is it. Noah Kendall player. He's going to get the win. And this is it.
The net into the wall, coming to the checkered flag. And Kendall, Noah player. I don't think we talked about him the entire first half of this race. And from out of nowhere is going to take the checkered flag today at Pocono.
Woo.
Man.
It took us 5 green-white checkers. But we finally made it.
Finally made it. We finally know who the winner is. And at the line, there was a wreck between Personette and I believe it was Matthew Weeks. Personette crossed in 4th, Weeks in 6th. And Chad Frankenfield, I guess he's still got good numbers here. He didn't get the win, but he crossed the line in 2nd. And how about the points day for Tyler Riggs? He'll bring it home. Final car on the podium. But the man of the hour, the man of the night is Kendall, Noah player.
Man.
Last week at Lucas Oil, 17th place run. And that car's got damage on it, so I think he doesn't mind hitting the wall a couple times. Nobody will notice.
Burn those tires down.
He got involved. Got a little piece of the wreck that involved the 12. And somehow it did not affect his car speed-wise, and he threw some really aggressive blocks there. Great defensive driving. Both Personette and Weeks to be able to take this checkered flag, and I don't think he cares about tires now. I think he's going to burn them to the cords.
Man, I think we really do need to take a look back at this final corner. Just the madness that went down into this.
That was unbelievable. I mean, at that point, going down the Long Pond straightaway to turn 3, I did not have a clue who was going to be the first one back to the checkered flag. At one point, I thought it was going to be Player. At one point, I thought it was going to be Weeks. At another point, I thought it could very well end up being Personette. They were jostling back and forth for those positions. Unbelievable finish here at Pocono. Took us a while to get there, but it was well worth the wait.
It really was.
Take a look at it here. This was the final lap of turn 2. Just look at the way that they were slicing and dicing here. Thought maybe there'd be a 3-wide move here into 3 with Personette. Was Weeks trying to get to the right rear quarter panel, couldn't do that. Here what happened to the 7 coming to the start finish line. He tries to move up and block. I believe that was the 4 to Weeks past the start finish line, and Weeks went up and over and on his roof. And to throw an aggressive block to keep the 2nd position. It didn't work out. He still managed to finish in 4th. Did Personette. Of Brzezinski brought it home in 5th place, as both Frankenfield and Riggs, both of them. Oh, we'll take a look here in just a moment at our full finishing results from today. And here they are. Kendall, Noah player, the win. Chad Frankenfield's going to bring it home 2nd. Tyler Riggs, his points lead heading into next week. A win last week, a 3rd place this week. Joshua Personette in 4th. Justin Krasinski in 5th. And the rest of your top 10 were Matthew Weeks. How about Joshua Clark, a comeback to 7th after he kind of faded back late. Levi Zelensky in 8th. 9th with Rizhav Kosla to start out the season in both races, and Vincent Isabella is going to complete the top 10, and then on back was basically drivers that were either damaged and off the pace, or and Brandon Key, who brought out the first caution of the day, brings it home on the lead lap in the 11th place position.
Oh man, what a race! I think we're gonna be bringing in our race winner, Kendall, no player. Moment. Kendall Noah player, congratulations on the win. That must have been a hectic green white checkered. How are you feeling?
I'm ecstatic. I want to thank the guys at PRM for helping me out there. We talked about that last restart a little bit and what would be the best strategy um, to go with. I chose the outside because I had a teammate behind me and I had a teammate to my inside that had accepted that his tires weren't going to win him the race. So he was gonna he wasn't going to hold anybody up, but he wasn't going to send it over me.
We saw it looked like you got a little piece of the wreck when the 12 spun in the front straightaway. Did that affect your car in any way?
I felt like it did a little bit, but that might be just how the draft is. Because when I got out to that lead, I kept checking my mirror on the straights and they would suck back right up to me. And it's like, yeah, I'm hurting on the straightaways a little bit. Luckily, it wasn't the long run. It was just 2 laps. And I got that lead on the restart like I did.
That last lap, it must have been like driving a super speedway because you had a guy making a move low, you had a guy making a move high, and you were throwing some really good blocks there. How are you able to anticipate moves like that? Because it seemed like the draft is just so strong with this package.
I knew he was going to go to my inside because I was um, trying to cheat him to give him like 3/4 of a lane where he wasn't really having the outside lane. And then he got under me, and I wasn't just going to block him off the tracks. I mean, I gave him a lane in two, but I'd ran in traffic enough to know that I could hold the outside a little bit, and I knew he's a respectable enough racer that he wouldn't just wreck me outright.
Man, Kendall, that was a
You got
fantastic run.
Yeah, time to go party like it's 1969.
Well, we're going to give you the opportunity here. Anybody that you want to shout out or thank?
Um, Rish for accepting that he wasn't gonna win the race. Haven which is Josh Personette, for helping me out there a little bit, and Matthew Weeks for not just full sending it into two and taking me out. So it's a
A
exciting
long race
experience.
for you guys, obviously, no doubt. So go ahead and enjoy your victory. Well deserved. And thank you from us for giving us an exciting finish here to close this thing out.
Y'all are welcome, and thank y'all for having me.
All right, we're gonna be bringing in our second place finisher, Chad Frankenfield.
All right.
Chad.
So, Chad, second place run for you here today. Day for you guys. You were up at the front, then you went to the back, then back up to the front with a second place finish. One thing that we noticed was you had the 4 fresh tires back there on the first green white checkered. Was there anything that you'd have been able to do to get by those guys with older tires?
Yeah, I mean it's really a crapshoot at that point because there was so much chaos in the restarts. It sucks. I mean, I screwed up qualifying, and then I worked my way up, and then I sped on pit road. Just shot myself in the foot all night. I think if I would have had a clean car, I think I really had a shot at being the fastest car in the race. Even when I was damaged, I was able to hang with Justin there. I think I had about 40 seconds of damage, so it's unfortunate. But I mean, obviously to get a second place to come out of there, um, the restarts were just nuts. The car had so much grip on lap one, so guys were able to just try to go after it and just um, yeah, I mean, I'm not happy with the way that race ended, but it is what it is. I guess you just move on from it.
Talk about coming off of turn 3 there on that final lap. You ended up having the 7 spinning in front of you. The 4, I think, was spinning as well. I mean, was it basically just pick a lane and keep your foot in it, or did you think that you were going to have them cleared?
It was basically just hope that you have your foot in it, and it is what it is. Like I said, but I'm just glad we were able to get out of there with second place.
At least you start out the season with back-to-back top 5 runs, third place last week and second place here today. Give you the opportunity. Anybody that you want to shout out or thank here?
I just want to thank everybody in Elite for obviously making everything so great lately. So, but we'll just go from there.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing what you're going to bring to the table next week at Richmond, and congrats on your second place run here today.
Yep.
And now we're going to be bringing in Tyler Riggs, our winner from last week, in third place this race.
All right, Tyler Riggs. Last week we talked to you in victory lane. This week we talked to you with a podium finish of third, so a great points day for you. Saw you run in most of the race around the 6th, 7th position, but made that move there at the start finish line to get third place. How did the race go from your perspective? Because it was wild up here.
Oh man, yeah, that was we had that unlimited green flag checkered rule, and I was telling the guys, I was like, especially with how everybody was staying out and taking two and the variant strategies, it was just, you knew it was going to be something crazy right there, and I didn't think it would get like that, but it was just one of those deals where I always tell our guys, just try to put yourself in a spot to win at the end, and we had us all up there at the end, and Noah held on thankfully, and yeah, Josh kind of got, stuff happened there that it is what it is, and I just capitalized on it. I was just hoping to finish top 10 today because didn't get a lot of laps in over the weekend. I had my own kind of first broadcast on actual airwaves on the radio, so that was a big thing over the weekend. I just didn't have time, so my pace wasn't really there on the short runs, and I was just trying to be consistent on the long runs today, really.
You were probably one of the few cars out there that was clean, wasn't involved in anything, but and coming off of turn 4 where the 7 and the 4 got together, and both you and the 15 of Frankenfield were able to make that move to the inside. At that point, being the final lap, knowing you were racing back to the checkered flag, was it basically just pick a lane, full throttle it, and hope that you get through in one piece?
Oh man, it's just having those ninja-like reflexes. Me and Josh joke about tobogganing all the time. Sometimes it gets a little crazy, hectic out there, whether it's public or in league. So you just gotta be ready to be on your toes and react quick enough to hopefully avoid it and try to read the situation. So, yeah, and Chad and Krasinski had those fresh tires too, so I kind of threw little mini blocks on them just to see if I could slow them down enough. But they were too fast, so I was just kind of trying to hold on to whatever I could there at the end.
You got any questions for Tyler?
Man, how was it going through the pack? It seemed like you were consistently moving up. Was there any point where you felt like, oh man, when am I going to get up there?
No, only because I knew I didn't have the short run speed. It was kind of just making sure I survived the restarts and then, find a comfort zone from there to work with. I'm very comfortable coming through the pack. It's one of kind of, I would say, my strength. I don't get really frazzled about, I got to get up there. Even if I do have the speed, I just try to take it one car at a time.
Pretty good way to start out the season. Your win at Lucas Oil last week, a third place run here at Poconos. So hope you keep that momentum up next week at Richmond. Give you the opportunity here. Anybody you want to shout out and thank?
Hey, all my boys at PRM, you saw us right there. We had 3 in the top 4. Rich slid back a little bit, but all of them, even Alec back in 13th in that 5, he had a cylinder down, did great finish in the top 15 with that. Really, the only unlucky one was Brady on the day. We all, kept our heads, and just I'm glad to see that as an owner.
Alrighty, well, congratulations on your third place run. Look forward to seeing you at Richmond. Go and enjoy yourself after a great run here today at Pocono.
Thank you, fellas. As always, great job.
And congratulations to Noah Kendall Player.
Kendall
Noah
huge.
Player. Man,
that
that
would
was
be huge for him in points too. 17th coming into this one, and like I said earlier on, when you get the wins and the good finishes earlier on in the season is when you gain the most positions. So this finish could see him very well established up inside the top 10 heading into Richmond next week.
Yep, after 5 green-white checkered tries, we finally got on the 5th one. But we'll see you guys next week at Richmond. That one is going to be a doozy.
Definitely is. Richmond's going to definitely be a bit of a wild card race as well. Speedway with short track style racing. And that will be taking place next Monday night. But Samuel, thanks for joining me here tonight. Appreciate you being in the booth with me. And boy, what a race to be here for.
Oh yeah, that was so much fun to be part of.
All right, so that's going to do it here for our broadcast here tonight from Pocono. We'll see you guys at Richmond next week.